please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Years of Young Turks.
Hello and welcome to Young Turks, India's longest running show on startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Shireen Bhan. On the show today, we put the spotlight on the EduTech space. We tell you how Mountain View, California headquartered Coursera is democratizing Ivy League education and what their specific plans are for India, the second largest market outside of the US. We also bring you the story of Smartivity, a startup that's tackling the deficiencies in our early education system with their science-based toys and school kits. Founded by Andrew Ng and Daphne Koller in 2013 as an experiment in Stanford, Coursera is today the world's largest provider of certified online courses and even full-fledged degrees. Now, 30 million learners from around the world access courses from 150 of the world's best universities on topics that range from AI and cloud computing to world history and even an MBA. Now, India is the second largest market for Coursera outside of the US. That's both in terms of learners and revenues. Coursera is now actively partnering with large enterprises here like Infosys, Airtel and the Tata Group to create specialized skills-based online courses. So I now caught up with Coursera's CEO, Jeff Maggioncalda, and here's a slice of the conversation on the future of learning and teaching. Take a look.
We basically brought together 30 million individuals who come to Coursera to learn and prosper, to learn things that are going to make a difference in their lives. We brought together 150 top-ranked universities, and this includes Stanford, Yale, Duke, Princeton, and they've partnered with Coursera to teach the world. So today, they just teach on small campuses, but with Coursera, they can reach audiences all around the world, and the 30 million learners are very attractive to these universities. And then in the last year and a half, we have started offering Coursera for Business, and this is for over 900 companies who've hired us to bring in Coursera and all of the university content in order to help transform their talent in a world that's changing really quickly. So what's happening is things are changing so fast that skills are becoming obsolete and new skills are becoming required. And so what we are really is a platform that brings together the learners and the educators and the employers in order to transform lives.
So you spoke of Coursera and the two E's, the educators and the employers. Let's begin by talking about the educators, so the large educational institutions that you've partnered with, 150 of them globally. What have been some of the insights into how offline university education is transforming or changing and the role that Coursera is playing in that transformation?
I think that one of the things that was really important for Coursera is that in 2013, once we launched, there were no universities, there were a few 100,000 people. And Daphne and Andrew, the two founders, were able to go and visit, because they know many of the other professors at the top universities. They're friends, and so they said, hey, we've got this new platform and there are students coming, put your courses on. Now, they did not put their degrees on Coursera. They created special online courses, some people call them MOOCs, massively open online courses, to experiment, to see how it works. Well, once the universities come on, then more learners came on. And when more learners came on, more universities came on. And now today we have 2,600 different MOOCs being offered, but they're not for credit. And so right now, and historically, it's really more about the learning. It's not so much yet about the credential or the degree. We are now at a phase where in the last year we started offering real degrees on Coursera. So the University of Illinois has the #5 ranked computer science master's program in the United States. And you can now earn a full master's degree on Coursera from the University of Illinois. And now many of our partners who were just doing MOOCs are now starting to say, maybe I'll start doing degrees online, and the same high quality degrees that we've seen before. In terms of how they're innovating, when you do something online, you have a very big audience. So these classes are thousands of people. We've integrated two-way video so that when the professors are instructing, all of the students are on video. They can all see each other, they can all see the professor. And we've integrated Slack, which is a chat technology, so they're all able to talk to each other and the TA. So it's a huge virtual seminar that happens.
What do you see as the next stage of growth as far as MOOCs are concerned? Where will online certification go? Where will online degrees go?
So many companies, in addition to Coursera, have been offering learning online. And the universities, I think, are realizing two things. Number one is, hey, these MOOCs are pretty interesting. A lot of 30 million people are taking them. This is interesting. They're also seeing that with how fast things are going, there's a world of learners, hundreds of millions of people who cannot afford to buy a whole degree on campus. They can't move their families. They can't quit their jobs. And so the universities are starting to say, hey, there's a big opportunity to teach the world in a way that we haven't done before. What they're doing is they're realizing if I move this online, I can lower the cost. I can serve people who don't live in the United States, who can't travel to the United States. And then the third thing that's really important is these degrees online will be a little bit different in the sense that they're going to be modular. So on campus, usually you either get your master's degree or you don't. That's it. Well, these degrees that we now have already on Coursera, they're these modules so that you can earn these modules, these certificates in pieces as you go. So you pay as you go, you earn certificates as you go, and once you get 4 certificates, you get the full degree.
All right, Jeff, let's talk about the other E, the employers. Now, this is another segment that has become important for Coursera. I believe over the last year and a half, you've partnered with over 900 global organizations, large and small Fortune 500 companies, to actually create and disseminate programs that help them reskill or train employees within their organization or even outside. Talk to us about that side of the business and why that's become an area of focus for Coursera.
Universities are very good at the more foundational, durable knowledge. But sometimes it's useful to have more applied skills that are more specifically relevant to certain tasks. And what we found is that a number of employers have said, you know, I'd like to author courses on Coursera that are a little bit more applied. They're more project focused. One great example of this is the Google IT support certification, where Google said, we need more IT support people. There's not enough trained IT support people in America. We have 150,000 open IT support positions. And Google said, well, we need to have them, so we'll just train them ourselves. So they developed an internal training program, and it was very successful. It was so successful that Google came to Coursera and said, we would like to put this on Coursera for the whole country and the whole world, where it's 6 courses long, and for an individual who has no college degree and no background in technology whatsoever, they can take these 6 courses and they can become a Google IT certified support professional.
So it seems like businesses are keen to come on to the Coursera platform and actually skill and retrain incumbent employees. But what about the other 2 large entities that take care of education in India? Of course, large universities, the IITs, the IIMs, and then of course the government, you know, both state and center, that manage a large chunk of these public universities. Talk to us about those partnerships, where those are heading, and you know, if you can talk us through why we don't see large educational institutes in India already on the Coursera platform.
So I think that we started in India with B2C. When you have 1.3 billion people, yes. There's a lot of good that you can do just by going directly to folks. Today we have about 30 million people on Coursera. Our second largest market is India, and is growing faster than every other market, just in B2C. So that will remain a very important part of how Coursera serves the Indian population. The enterprises will also be important, especially some of the really big companies that employ tens or hundreds of thousands of people. Yes. To your final question on the government and educational systems, we definitely think that partnering with Indian universities will be critical. We've done surveys of Indian learners, and although they do respect universities like Stanford and Harvard and Cambridge and Oxford, the premium really is on the IITs and the IIMs. And so we think that what we've done in America could be a good model for what we might do in India.
What to your mind will the certification and credentials market look like 4 or 5 years from now?
Today the IITs and the IIMs, they just can't serve, at least with the traditional campuses, they just can't serve as many individuals as want to be educated in those institutions. So I think it's almost certain that online education will be very helpful. When I think about the gig economy, the question is as things move quickly, people will need to reskill with all the new technologies. And so using online services to stay current, if you're not working at an employer who's helping you get those opportunities for reskilling, you have to get them yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I think an enterprise push to us where we upskill workforces at work is one piece of it, but there will be many people who build their careers and their lives without working for a particular company. And that's why our B2C direct will continue to be an important part of this.
Let's talk a little bit about the business side of things then, Jeff. Coursera, 5-year-old startup, you've raised a Series D from an enviable lot of investors. There were also reports that you coming in as CEO a couple of months back was actually a step towards preparing Coursera for an IPO. So talk to us about the business side.
Well, so at my last company, Financial Engines, I was the first employee. I was 27 years old, and I worked there for 18 years.
Yes.
The investors who backed Financial Engines included New Enterprise Associates, which is one of the largest venture capital firms in the world, and a number of other VCs. And at least in the US, the way that these venture capitalists work is if they see a really big opportunity and they believe that a company, as one of their companies, is learning rapidly, even if you haven't figured it out, if you're learning rapidly and you're on track to figuring it out, they're very supportive and they'll continue to invest. Generally, though, they're not really in that much of a rush to go public. You look at an Uber, you look at an Airbnb, yes. There are many very large private companies now worth tens of billions of dollars. So I don't think it's really the IPO that they are focused on. What they are focused on is looking at the magnitude of the opportunity and making sure that Coursera is built and structured so that we can do the best job we can in serving this opportunity. And we expect that if we do that well, we'll become a great company.
And what do you see as your top 3 tasks as CEO?
For me at least, a growth company CEO basically has to do 3 things. They have to set the right strategy, which includes choosing who your customers are, choosing the market opportunity that you want to go after, and making sure that when you offer a product to meet that need, it's different in a sustainable way so that you can beat the competition. So that's strategy is about choosing your customer, the market, and how you're going to be different. The second thing is the team. So a big job of the CEO is to build the right team who can help the company scale. And then the third one is the culture. Because my team is only 10 people, but our company is many hundreds. And so you want to make sure that without being personally involved in every decision, the company knows what the mission is, the company knows who the customer is, and the company has the feedback loops to figure out how do we learn and change and grow rapidly to better serve our customers. So my job as CEO at Coursera is set the right strategy, build a great team, and set a culture of learning and change so we can best meet the needs of learners around the world.
Welcome back. You're watching Young Turks, India's longest running show on startups and entrepreneurship. On the show today, we've been putting the focus on EduTech startups. And in this segment, we turn our attention to early education. While a certain amount of screen time can stimulate your child's creativity and even help with learning, many modern young parents have one common complaint. Their kids are addicted to gadgets. Some parents are even guilty of relying on their iBabysitter in an attempt to find a moment of peace. And like all things in life, finding a balance is the key, and a Delhi-based startup might have found the answer. Founded by 4 engineers, Smartivity conceptualizes, designs and develops activity-based science, technology, engineering and mathematics or STEM-based toys. Having clocked in revenues of 10.2 crore rupees, the startup has already made its way into the US, Canada, Australia and Europe. Let's take a look at their story.
Former media professional Tushar Amin stumbled upon his startup idea and his co-founder at a birthday party. Surrounded by gifts, Tushar observed how kids were interacting with brand new toys. Once unboxed, the kids explored the toys for a few minutes, played with them for a while, and simply moved on to their gadgets. This got Tushar Amin and Apurv Gupta, another guest at the party, talking. And they, along with friends Ashwini Kumar and Rajat Jain, decided to create toys that engage both parents and children.
We started out of the living room of Apurv and Ashwini. Our initial plan was to go in with a digital subscription-based activity boxes. So you'll get boxes at home every month and you have to subscribe to them. But given our limited capital that we had, we could either build really good products or we could spend all of it on acquiring customers on digital platform. We chose the option of designing really good products, and we abandoned the digital subscription model in favor of creating retail distribution network. So it's very difficult, but it is very effective as well. In the sense, if parents see a particular brand in the market, they start trusting it more kinds.
With an initial capital of 50 lakh rupees, the four co-founders began their journey in 2015 and founded Smartivity Labs, an EduTech startup. The vision was to build innovative educational toys and activities that focus on STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Math learning. The team started designing toys that allowed children in the age group of 3 to 14 years to get hands-on and engagement-driven experience. Today, their portfolio includes do-it-yourself toys made from recycled wood that include augmented reality-enabled activities, virtual reality learning experiences, and even focus on robotics and IoT-based games. With a 70-member team that includes product designers, technologists, and sales professionals, Smartivity has conceptualized all designs in-house from this studio in Saket, New Delhi.
All our designs are patented, which makes it for us very difficult to give out our designs to someone else to manufacture. So that is one reason why we have kept the manufacturing bit in-house in a kind of hybrid model. So it's a contract manufacturing, but we take care of the designs, like we own the designs, and we are in charge of the quality control as well.
As of today, Smartivity has a 20-member team at this manufacturing unit in Manesar. Having bootstrapped the first year of operations, setting up a bigger team and foraying into recycled wood products needed capital, which is when education-focused publishing house S. Chand & Company saw value in what Smartivity had on offer and pumped in 6.7 crore rupees in a Series A round along with early-stage investment firm Advantage Partners in May 2016. These funds helped the team better their products and expand reach to global markets like USA, Australia and Europe, which according to Ashwini Kumar was a happy accident.
We participated in Kids India, that happens in Mumbai in September, and that's India's largest B2B toy expo. So this gentleman from Canada called George Erwin, so he was one of the key speakers at the event. So we bumped into him and he looked at our products and he thought this is what STEM products should be. So he invited us to Hong Kong and exhibit with him to their international buyers. So we exhibited at Hong Kong, we exhibited at Nuremberg, Germany, that's the largest global toy expo. So from there we got these leads and these people really found value proposition in the product. So that's how we started our export. So last year we shipped our first consignment somewhere around August, September, and we were live in market around November. So we are available at Amazon.com in the US, we are available at Amazon.ca in Canada, at Barnes & Noble's chain of store in the US, and then a lot of school suppliers in the US.
Having tied up with 2,000 preschools in India, the team is now looking to develop curriculum-linked products for K-12 schools. For its next leg of growth, Smartivity is looking to make the most on Niti Aayog's Atal Tinkering Laboratories that are being set up in schools across India to foster STEM-based learning. With a target to break even by March 2019, Smartivity's big vision is to create a company like Lego and become the go-to brand for educational toys for parents and children across the world.
Well, here's wishing the Smartivity team all the very best and welcome to the Young Turks community. It's time now for us to wrap up all the news from the startup space in India on the Young Turks Startup Roundup. Over to you, Saina.
While we have our eyes set on the much-hyped multi-billion-dollar Walmart-Flipkart deal, there are a lot of other smaller funding rounds that took place this week, so let's get started. SME lending platform Capital Float, founded by Gaurav Hinduja and Shashank Rishyasinghe, has raised $22 million in a follow-on series round from e-commerce giant Amazon. The funds will be used to deepen Capital Float's product portfolio and also add 300,000 customers or SMEs to their bank. Amazon's other India investments include gift card technology startup Quick Clever Solutions, payment gateway M-Advantage, and Bank Bazaar. Online beauty marketplace Nykaa has secured $11.32 million in a funding round led by existing investors, which include Sunil Munjal's family office, Marico's Mariwala family office, and Dilip Pathak, a special limited partner at Warburg Pincus.
With a user base of 14.3 million users, New Delhi-based PopXO, a women-focused digital content startup, has raised $5.5 million in a round of funding led by Neoplux of Korea's Doosan Group, Chinese hardware major Oppo. Existing investors IDG Ventures India, Kalari Capital, GREE Ventures of Japan and Summit Media from the Philippines also participated in the round. PopXO is now looking to consolidate commerce as a strong revenue stream for itself and also plans to strengthen its vernacular offerings beginning with Hindi. Noida-based long-distance travel app Rail Yatri has raised an undisclosed Series B funding led by Umayyad Network. The funding round saw participation from other existing investors as well, including Nandan Nilekani, Bloom Ventures and Helion Venture Partners. Now, in other notable funding news, Twitter co-founder BizStone has invested in Delhi-based health tech startup Visit. Founded in 2016 by BITS Pilani students Anurag Prasad, Vaibhav Singh, Shashwat Tripathi and Chetan Anand, Visit is an AI-powered chatbot for health advice. Noida-based online lending startup PayMe India has raised $2 million in a funding round from Singapore-based angel investors. The startup will use the funding mainly for capacity and market expansion. Moving on, Bengaluru and San Francisco-based developer tools startup Hasura has raised $1.6 million in a seed round of funding led by Nexus Venture Partners and Gree Ventures. Another Bengaluru-based venture that raised money this week was car repair and servicing startup Pitstop, which raised $1.6 million in a pre-Series A round from Bloom Ventures and Singapore-based Goldbell Group.
Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Young Turks. Tell us what you thought of our show. Write into us, youngturks@nw18.com. Connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. Our handle is @CNBC Young Turks. Till next time, from all of us here on the team, goodbye and many thanks for watching.